Welcome to the Let's Get Entrepreneurial podcast, your go-to resource for navigating the world of entrepreneurship. Today, we're delving into a topic that's reshaping the landscape of entrepreneurship: artificial intelligence. Once a concept found only in science fiction, AI has now become a driving force in the modern business arena. It's an ever-evolving technology that's not just for tech giants, but is increasingly accessible to businesses of all sizes.
The Let's Get Entrepreneurial podcast is your ultimate launchpad for igniting ideas and skyrocketing your entrepreneurial dreams. Tune in, buckle up, and let's unleash the entrepreneurial spirit within. Your two hosts will be Professor Gary Palin and serial entrepreneur Ryan Budden.
Hello, Professor Palin. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. We've gotten together to discuss the impact of AI. My initial comment to you was this podcast is either too early or too late, and I'm not sure which one it is.
Or both.
Or both. It's an insanely adapting field right at the moment. We're not sure where it's going to land. It's changing everything around us. But here we go. We're making a podcast topic because I think it's super relevant to anyone in business, let alone someone starting their own business today.
It's a fast-moving area. It reminds me of when internet first came about. It was literally held together by duct tape and baling wire. You were transmitting data over telephone lines, which didn't have the capabilities of handling that data because it was voice band, versus even sending images takes a tremendous amount more data. And that's why in the early days, internet always crashed, but it developed very rapidly. And I'm seeing the exact same thing happening with AI.
As we like to do when we get started, we're going to refer to artificial intelligence as AI. So we'll give a quick definition of it in case anyone's not super familiar with what it is. So AI refers to machines or systems that mimic human intelligence to perform tasks and can improve upon themselves based on information they collect. So a pretty concise definition.
I think that's spot on.
Ironically, that definition, because we found a lot on the internet, came from an AI model. We used ChatGPT to come up with the definition of what it was.
Yes, is there any other way now?
Yeah, I kind of love that. Adding to the secret sauce.
AI, some people think of it as a tool for efficiency, but it's really a catalyst for growth and change.
Absolutely. You've nailed what we're trying to talk about today. How are businesses using it? And how are businesses getting left behind if they're not using it? And it's that catalyst for change. It's the increase in productivity that a single person can get through multiplying their input to the output.
And it has multiple applications in a wide range of issues in business and beyond.
It does. For anyone listening, their interaction with AI is probably ChatGPT or DALL-E, which is Microsoft. That's a really basic form of artificial intelligence, and it's probably the most mass-marketed version of it. But it doesn't stop there. AI is really not only conversational AI, which both of those, DALL-E and ChatGPT, are conversational AI. So they're mimicking the speech pattern and the intelligence of a chat agent, so somebody that was sitting on the other side of the computer. Really, the AI that I think we're focusing on is the collecting information and creating their own information, which a lot of people in the industry, just to drop in industry terms, is referred to as generative AI. They're not only looking at information, but they're actually creating their own pieces of information for you. Does that make sense?
Definitely. In essence, you're talking about machine learning.
When AI was first created, there were these two separate worlds of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and they really didn't overlap very much. There were machine learning models looking at large data sets, and AI was focused on how do we sound like a human. They've merged, and that merging is the generative AI piece.
The first AI application I ever saw was IBM's Deep Blue, which was a chess-playing computer, and it defeated the reigning world champion.
Interesting. I would have loved to have looked up what the first AI was. We've talked about AI forever. Thomas Edison had predictions on AI, and he was talking about just algorithms being able to make people smarter.
It's interesting that machine learning, and you combine it with a natural language processing, which enables the machines to understand and interpret human language. That, and you see the blend of robotics associated with that with machine learning. That creates the dramatic shifts and changes in AI. Again, I'll go back to internet. There's an interesting parallel. And you mentioned Chat GPT. Back at the early stages of internet, we used to use a browser. It was Alta Vista. And that was the top browser. That was pre-Google. And then Google came along and just changed the landscape. I don't even know if Alta Vista still exists or if you've ever even heard of it.
I've never even heard of it.
That was the dominant browser, and Google came along and changed the landscape. Yahoo had a browser, and you had various applications to that. Well, to me, Chat GPT, are they going to morph into the Google of AI, or are they going to be the Alta Vista of AI? We don't know yet. Keep your head up. What is next? You got to keep your head up in this game.
You do. And I think if anyone's going to take anything out of listening to this, it's the fact that you really do have to stay up to date, because there are so many different adaptations of AI right now that it can be extremely overwhelming. People are really pushing the cutting edge of what AI is doing in the average person's life. And the people that are taking advantage of that, the startup businesses in particular, I would say, are really multiplying a small team into a really effective, large-scale output.
There are thousands of applications to this. And I just look at our respective backgrounds that we're using with Zoom, and they were both AI generated.
It's a great thing to put out. If anyone's looking at this podcast visually, both of us used a machine learning model or an AI model to create the visual backgrounds behind us on the Zoom screen.
We both use different platforms to achieve the same end result.
That's right. I did this for a client as a demonstration on how they can upscale a marketing team to have one person. The background behind me is fairly sophisticated and would have taken a graphics designer an entire day, if not multiple days. And we created 10 of these in 10 minutes.
Mine was using Canva, and I created this in 2-3 minutes.
It's a brilliant example for how people can use it immediately right now.
That mine was done in 2-3 minutes with never having done it before, having no idea how to generate this via Canva. And I figured it out, implemented, executed in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yep. And I used Midjourney, which is exponentially more complicated in the good way and a bad way.
For those who aspire to go higher in their entrepreneurial journey, we've got something just for you. Coming up next, unleash your entrepreneurial potential with the Janus Entrepreneurial Report. In just a few minutes, discover your unique entrepreneurial strengths, areas for growth, and tailored strategies for success. Whether you're a seasoned business owner or just starting out, the Janus Entrepreneurial Report is your roadmap to entrepreneurial excellence. Visit profspirit.com today and take the first step towards transforming your business vision into reality. The future of your enterprise starts now. Now, let's dive back into our journey of entrepreneurial insights. And you're seeing things like chat boxes for customer service using AI, very efficient, very effective. You're using sentiment analysis on social media. Voice recognition technology is really fascinating with cloning voices.
We're doing a lot of research into that. I think it's a really exciting field for any sort of creator that's out there. It's also a very scary field for anyone that's in the public eye, because deep fakes and things like that are becoming more and more prevalent.
I was playing with it and showing my son, who's in corporate America, what I was doing with voice cloning. And he was fascinated with that, to apply it to his training videos that he could pop out very quickly using voice cloning versus the cumbersome process they're using today.
Absolutely. That, and you can sound professional instantaneously without professional equipment, is a major add-on for anyone that's creating content again.
The applications are unlimited, and we haven't even begun to think of the applications. Where the direction is going, we don't even know what the application potentially could be. That's why you have to keep your head up, keep staying with it. And I would encourage anyone running any size business, go play with it like we were playing with our backgrounds. It was just playing because I had never done it. I would say, what is this? And I just keep playing with it. I've done voice cloning, again, playing with it just to become familiar and not being afraid to break it.
Yeah. Playing with it is the start. You can easily do that with ChatGPT or DALL-E. It's a great way to jump into it, learn what its capabilities are. The future of it, from the largest negative or drawback to the AI models currently, would be security. the future of it are the agents that they're putting out. So there's a lot of AIs that you can download directly onto your system so that you're not necessarily connected to the large scale database. So information you're putting into it stays yours.
There's also some legal issues associated with ownership on this. There's many areas that are still untested. One of the areas that I think is very interested in, it might be because I'm hearing it in academia, but I think it ripples into business, is people are panicking over job displacement concerns. They think, oh my God, I'm going to be replaced by AI, and they're panicking. What do you think about that?
It's a tough one. I don't think anyone's getting displaced. I think really what it's going to do is allow the average person greater capabilities. I don't know that it's going to actually take anyone's jobs because it still requires a human element to it. And that human that's behind it is just being given a greater toolbox, in my opinion.
I would agree. I believe it's going to create many more jobs than it displaces. And again, I go back to my analogy of internet. I heard the same exact fears when internet was being introduced. Oh my God, we're all going to lose our jobs. Internet's going to replace us. What it turned into was a tool. And that's how I view AI. AI is a tool for us to use. We want to be early adopters with using AI as a tool when driving your business. It can be to your advantage.
Without a doubt. And if nothing else, I've had a really great time using AI tools. It's super fun. It's a great conversational piece, if nothing less.
Both you and I love to learn. This is a new frontier of learning, and I find it exciting and stimulating.
Right. That's a good way of looking at it.
Is there another way?
Yeah. Well, I think to sum it up, stay eager to learn is always a main theme of our podcasts, and AI is a really great field to be eager in.
If you're driving a company, I would foster a culture of innovation. You want to encourage skill developments in this area with the people you're working with, and basically prepare for organizational changes as a result of AI. They're coming.
They certainly are. Well, great. Let's get entrepreneurial.
Let's get entrepreneurial.
As we wrap up another episode of the Let's Get Entrepreneurial podcast, we extend our gratitude for your presence and attention. Your dedication to the entrepreneurial spirit fuels our passion for creating this podcast. Check out profspirit.com to discover resources and courses designed specifically for innovators like you. Stay on the cutting edge by following us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and other platforms as it is released. Until then, keep the entrepreneurial flame burning.